What is going on, people? So today I wanted to speak to you about Chelsea and why there might be method to the madness after all, right? And what I mean by that is Chelsea have made some really expensive acquisitions that just haven't worked out, that didn't make sense. I think it's like any scout in the world could have told you that Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, £100 million players, are going to probably do all right. And it's a numbers game, right? The amount of darts you throw at a dartboard statistically, probability wise, laws of maths, eventually you'll hit a bullseye. So that's a given. But then to sign Garnacho over 40 million and Gittins just because you could, only to not really play them, and even Santos, who's gone to Manchester United, admittedly, you're not going to be able to break up a £100 million partnership politically, right? I get it. You spent 200 plus million, you're not just going to drop one of them, especially if they're not dropping stinkers, right? Because they weren't dropping stinkers, they were playing all right, especially at the end of last season. So what the point is here is that I think we need to really understand that whilst they're offloading players, they're moving quietly in the background. And as Gary Neville famously said, you're never really too far away. You're closer than you think. And I think as well, with the absence of a world-class player like a Mo Salah or someone who can really lead you to a title run, right? And also a collective like Arsenal, where everyone thought they're going to keep bottling it, they're really far away, and actually, lo and behold, they're making a few signings in terms of like sort of Gyökeres, keep players fit, and also Zubimendi, and your Saliba and Gabriel, and Odegaard played a fair few games last season, then they finally get over the line and do it, right? So I do think Chelsea are not that far, and I think with a manager like Xabi Alonso, who maybe it was timing, maybe he did flat out turn down, or maybe Liverpool turned him down, but that was Chelsea's profit at the end of the day, right? And it does seem like the ownership is changing. They've got this guy in and they're saying, we're going to back you, right? If you remember the famous story of Wayne Rooney in the changing room, Memphis Depay rocks up in a brand new Rolls Royce and is wearing a particular get-up all matching, iced out and everything, for Rooney to tell him, get out of the changing room, what are you doing? This is your first day on the job. You've got to earn that, right? You remember Alan Shearer speaking about how he's an apprentice cleaning boots with a toothbrush before he even got to go to training. So the likes of the acquisitions of Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson, where they can grab someone by the collar, can put an arm around them and say, what are you doing, right? To basically get the best out of these players. So you remember this footage about 4 or 5 years ago, longer now actually, with Eric Bailly, Lingard, and also Pogba dancing around in changing rooms, and people are saying this is why United aren't challenging, because people haven't earned the right to have that fun in the public sphere yet, right? Whereas you hear about Neville, Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, if they lost, they did not go out, right? They're not going to the restaurants, they're not going to the bars, they're not seen out, they're at home, because Sir Alex had a rule that you don't show your face in public because you haven't earned that right to the community, to the people that support you. So I think Chelsea are moving quietly. I think what it is now is they are moving fast and somehow managed to get 40 odd million, got their money back at least for Alexander Garnacho and selling him to Villa. And to be fair, right, it is Unai did buy as well Sancho and take him on loan. So he likes taking punts on players where he thinks there's a diamond in the rough, and he might turn out to be good, he might not, right? But what we do know is that now the Gittins and the Santoses and now the Lerouxs are coming through, and also Jordan Henderson, which, you know, Tuchel took him just to have him in the changing room, you know? And there is talks of players back in the day, like Andros Townsend went around and had a lot of appearances for clubs at squad level, not necessarily at starting lineup level, just because he raised the standard of training so much, right? So there's that aspect. There's a lot we don't see, right, as laymen who are not in the limelight and the inner workings. Danny Welbeck has guaranteed 10, 15 goals. Wish United went for him, right? Brought him back home. But this is the problem that I see now that other clubs are going to have, right? That they're doing a lot of melting pots. If you think about the likes of Rodri leaving City and being backfilled by Elliot Anderson, yeah, Elliot Anderson's more than capable, but he just doesn't have time with him or under his belt, whereas Rodri does. And I think what Chelsea are trying to do is mitigate for that by saying, let's bring in 2 Premier League proven players, right? Plus Leroux at centre-back, and we've got that spine sorted. Even if Jordan Henderson, I'd be surprised if he gets anything more than a Carabao Cup and maybe the odd Champions League appearance. They're not in the Champions League, but an FA Cup appearance, right? Or something of that nature. Or maybe FIFA are going to chuck in another tournament next summer. Maybe something like that. But what I see happening now is a shift from Chelsea where they got the manager down, they got a better strategy. I don't think they're going to throw bad money after good money anymore. And I think now they're going to build from a position of strength. I think they still will take opportunities in the market. Like, you know for a fact, right? If it was Vinny Jr. was legit about moving to London, Chelsea would have come in and just made it work somehow, right? Because they are that club, right? Where would you rather live? Would you rather live in the middle of nowhere in the sticks, or would you rather go to training in Surrey and Cobham and live that life and go to the city for Chelsea on your weekends and your midweek game, right? A lot of these European players, if they're going to live in a cold country, I may as well live in the best city in that particular place from their perspective, right? I know Di Maria hated Manchester, for example, right? And as a result, ended up elsewhere of better climates, which isn't hard to beat in the UK. But getting to the point, I think keep an eye on Chelsea, see what comes out, because I am interested. I wouldn't say I'm excited, but I'm interested to see what comes out with them. And yeah, keep it tuned. Let me know what you think, and let's keep the conversation going.